Hello.
Hello.
What is your name?
I am Patrick.
Patrick, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, so Patrick, I have two books, My Face and My Body. Which one do you want to read?
My face.
My Face, okay. Let's read it.
My face. This is my eye. This is my eyebrow. This is my ear. This is my cheek. This is my nose. This is my mouth. This is my chin. This is my face.
So Patrick, can you tap your nose? Good. Tap your ear. Good. Tap your mouth. Tap your eyebrow. Tap your eyes. Can you tap your cheeks? Cheeks. And rub your chin. Rub your chin. Good job, Patrick. And now, Patrick, can you please tell me, how many eyes do you have?
2 eyes.
Listen. I have
2
eyes. How many ears do you have?
I have 2 ears.
How many noses do you have?
I have 1 nose.
How many hands do you have?
I have 1 hand.
Thank you, Patrick. And what do you use to smell? What do you use to smell? I use
use
my
my nose
to
to
smell.
smell.
Good. What do you use to hear?
I
Use
use
my
my ears
ears
to hear.
to hear. What do you use to see? I use
You
my
my eye
see.
see.
Thank you, Patrick. So now we have many books here. We have herons, what I like, vegetables, getting dressed, Carlos goes to school, bird goes home, and the rainstorm. Okay.
He runs.
Oh, you want to read herons? Okay. Here you are.
He runs. He runs to the bus. He runs to the train. He runs to the boat. He runs to the plane. He runs to the school. He runs to the store. He runs to the pool. He runs home.
So, Patrick, can you please tell me, where does he run?
He runs to the school.
And where does he run?
He runs to the pool.
Pool. Where does he run?
He runs to the store.
Is it a toy store?
Store book.
Yes.
Books.
No, this is the book
Book
store.
store.
Okay. And can you tell me, what is this?
This is
A
plane.
plane. What is this?
This is a train.
What is this?
This is a boat.
Thank you. And what is this?
This is a bus.
How many buses do you see?
1 bus.
Let's say I
I
see
see
one
1 bus.
What color is the bus?
Yellow.
Let's say the bus
The bus
is.
is yellow.
Thank you. And now can you choose one more book?
Bird goes.
Okay, let's read it.
bird goes over the farm. The bird goes over the city. The bird goes over the street. The bird goes over the tables. The bird goes over the cars. The bird goes over the mountains. The bird goes home.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick, tell me, where does the bird go over?
The bird goes over the farm.
What animals can you see on the farm?
Cow.
I can see
I can see
a
a cow. I can see a
foal, right? The
I
baby
can
horse.
see a lamb.
A lamb,
I can see a kid.
a kid.
I can see a cat.
So, Patrick, tell me, is a foal baby horse? Yes or no? Is it a baby horse? Foal? Yes or no?
Yes.
Good. Is lamb a baby cat?
Yes.
Oh, no. A lamb is a baby bear. A lamb is a baby sheep. Yes. Okay, and now back to the book. Tell me, what does the bird go over?
The bird goes over the tables.
How many tables do you see?
2 tables.
I see
I see
two.
2 tables.
Yes. And the last one. What does the bird go over?
The bird goes over the cars.
Can you count and tell me how many cars are there on the street? They are.
11.
Okay, so yeah, there are
There are
11
11
cars
cars
on the
street.
street. Thank you. Okay, so now it's my turn. I will choose the book for you. I like you to read this one.
It's book.
Yes, can you read it, please?
This is a potato. This is broccoli. This is lettuce. This is corn. This is an onion. This is carrot. These are carrots. These are vegetables.
Well done. And now, Patrick, tell me, what are these?
These are carrots.
What color are these carrots? What color are these carrots?
Green
Green
and orange.
yes, they are green and orange. And what is this?
Cabbage.
This
This is cabbage.
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 What color is the cabbage?
Purple.
Purple. Okay, so now, Patrick, what kinds of vegetables do you like to eat?
I
Like
like carrots.
oh, you like carrots?
I like onions.
Carrots and onions
I like corn.
and corn. Okay, I get it. Okay, so the last one. Can you
The
read
last-
the rainstorm? Yes.
The rainstorm. I see the sun. I see the sky. I see the clouds. I see the rain. I see the lightning. I see the pearl. I see the rainbow. I see the sun.
So Patrick, what do you see?
I see the sun.
How's the weather?
It's sunny.
Good. And what do you see?
I see the rain.
How's the weather?
It's rainy.
What do you see?
I see the clouds.
How's the weather today? Is it raining?
Yes.
Today, is it raining? Can you look outside? Okay, is it
Sky.
yeah, you can see the sky. And how's the weather today? Is it rainy or sunny?
Is sunny.
Good, it's sunny. How do you feel? Are you hot or are you cold? Let's say, I'm cold.
Cold.
Thank you, Patrick. It's the end of this test. Goodbye.
Bye.